Brethren, welcome back to episode 4 of the Lincolnshire Freemason podcast show with your main presenters, Pete Richardson, Simon Noden, and my very good self, Chris Watkin. And we're here to entertain and guide you and support you on your journey of Freemasonry. And it doesn't get much bigger than this in terms of guests. It's one of our new Assistant Provincial Grand Master, Jez Hyland. But before we come to him, let's just check in. Pete, you've been blowing your own trumpet, haven't you?
I have, yeah. So obviously, I missed the last show. I was on tour with Addams Family, the musical. So
excellent.
Doing that. So.
And anyone that doesn't know, Pete is big in the game when it comes to brass. He teaches people, and if you're ever on one of those cruises, which Simon Noden is always taking his missus on, he will be responsible for that. I don't think they have cruise ships at Skegness, do they, Simon? Oh, you're muted. Oh, first one of the day. Oh, come on.
Yeah, we have a lifeboat in Skeg.
Excellent. That's for all the holiday makers that get caught out.
They get a free cruise.
There you go. Good stuff. Well, and you had a good summer?
Yeah, really well. Been busy, as you know. We're always busy in the background of Freemason. We're doing something.
They say that you only do 8 meetings a year. I don't know about you, but I've done 8 by the end of Jan.
Yeah.
Anyway, no one's come to listen to our banter. We are here to learn about Freemasonry, to progress our daily learning, and it doesn't get much bigger than Assistant Provincial Grand Master Jez Hyland. And Simon, I would like you to kick off first and ask Jez some questions about the festival and charity.
Well, the first thing I'm going to ask Jez is, I was so tempted, and Jez is a fellow Man United supporter, I was so tempted to put one of my retro shirts on tonight, but I didn't know what era to go for. So that was a tough choice. So that might be one to come back to. What were your favourite era, Jez? We'll come back to that one.
Anything in the Fergie years when I had a season ticket. That was the key with me. Didn't matter what shirt we wore then, Simon, because we were winning stuff.
Speaking of winning teams, Jez, the festival's flying for Lincolnshire Freemasons. We were off on the beer bang right at the very start of it. COVID dropped in, but we got through that because that team effort. But could you explain what the festival for 2025 is and its significance within Lincolnshire Freemasons?
The significance within Lincolnshire Freemasons is we're part of one of 44 provinces that enter festival over an 11-year cycle. And I think one of the things that I learned since I took this role on just before COVID is that because it's the first time we've had a festival for our charity, the Masonic Charity Foundation, the actual system isn't particularly well known out there. So I've been trying to beat the drum of explaining that we're one of a team of 44 provinces. We 4 go in every year, so it's an 11-year cycle. The benefit to Lincolnshire is that when we're in festival, we're helping others. When we're not in festival, they're helping us. Hence why we can get the grants we get from the MCF, knowing that in the grand scheme of things nationally, everything evens itself out. I did multiples, and I know I've done many presentations on this. The MCF was only formed in 2016, so we've only got 5 years full data. But if you multiply what we've received in Lincolnshire over the last 5 years to the full 11 of the cycle, it'll be £3.7 million, Simon. And we've only been asked to raise 2.25. I'll be delighted if we do get 2.25. COVID, did scupper us. It did put the brakes on. But if you just look at the events that have happened over the summer, I think we're really back. I think we could have the confidence to plan events and then attend events. I think that what this summer has taught me is I think really the momentum, even though we've only got 2 official years left of the festival, the momentum really is now on the up. And I'm confident we'll get to 2.25.
It's that winning team mentality. For those people listening who are not Freemasons, So the 11-year cycle, we're not in festival for 11 years, are we?
No, basically you're in festival for 5.5 years and you're out festival for 5.5 years.
Yeah.
So we raise money for we focus our fundraising for the MCF during that 5.5 years. And when we're out of that festival, we focus our fundraising on more local activities to generate funds for either local charities we support each lodge or crediting the provincial new provincial benevolent fund. So that the province has got funds then to give grants.
So we've got the fundraising aspect for the festival, but what is the ultimate financial goal for Lincolnshire Freemasons? What is we can't say target, can we?
Well, no, I mean, the whole thing, we didn't want it to be, we just wanted to try and have fun raising money, because I think we're good at raising money. It's in our DNA, as everyone keeps reminding me. It is in our DNA, but we do like having fun while we do it. We do it from within, and the bottom line is we've been given a goal, because it wasn't scientifically calculated. The goals we've set each of the lodges is just an equal split amongst the members at the January 2000. There's no science involved. It's just a divvy up. So the figure was given by the MCF. We agreed it. We're comfortable with it. We thought it was in our grasp. It certainly would have been without COVID, and I think we'll get over the line with COVID. I mean, there's three things where we are at the minute, Simon. Sorry to go on a bit, but you know, I think we're just underneath the line of getting to 100%. The MCF have got a linear graph. They say we're going to get 101%. Brilliant. And the PGM says we're going to smash it. So
I'll go with the smashing it.
But if we don't smash it, if we smash it, he'll get all the credit. If we're under, the chairman will say, "Oh, he didn't quite make it, did he?"
Yeah. Well, it's that team mentality, and he can be Fergie then.
Yeah. We're having Fergie time as well. We're having Fergie time because we've extended them direct debits. Remember, don't let anyone forget that we can extend the direct debit to September 26.
We'll have a look for him at the end of 2025 if he's tapping his watch.
Yes. Well, the thing is, at the minute with football, everyone's getting Fergie time, aren't they?
It is. Yeah. So, are you able to clarify the misconceptions of how the funds are raised for the festival, and that they don't just go off to a big pot somewhere else in London?
Simon, I would love to. I would love to. Those figures I just mentioned, they are actual statistics from the MCF impact reports. So anybody that's listening to this, if you Google MCF impact reports, Lincolnshire, you'll get the last 5 years worth. If you add those figures up over the last 5 years, it comes to 1.7 million. Divide that by 5, multiply it by 11. So that trend continues. It's £3.7 million. So anybody that turns around to me and says, Lincolnshire doesn't get credited, the money stays in London, that's coming back to Lincolnshire. And then think of some of the national stuff that's happened. £1 million to Age UK that helped 9,300 elderly, got interviews and financial reviews. Over £18 million worth of benefits has been claimed from a £1 million donation from our charity. I'm very proud, very proud. That's in addition to what we're doing, to what we get back from Lincolnshire, or that's credited in Lincolnshire. Yes, they're the stats, you know.
So the final question would be: are you able to provide an update on our progress? Well, you've sort of just alluded to that, haven't you? Really, about the progress of the fundraising and our goal for the 2025 festival.
Yeah, we're about there. As I say, we're about on the linear graph. We're about there, but we better go with what the PGM says. Is if we really motor along the last 2 years, we're going to smash it. And I think we will. You know, if we have a good 2 years, then I think we could comfortably beat it. I think we could comfortably beat it. We're quite capable of doing that.
But we've got Fergie time at the end, so
yeah. But a lot of people have already committed to that, which was fantastic. Yeah. But if there is anybody out there that hasn't extended, you've got to understand this direct debit system, which I'm trying to I'm talking to the MCF about trying to adjust this, because it isn't right that all you can click on is either 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You should be able to put a date in to say, I want my direct debit to finish on this month. So they are working on it. I know because I've fed it back. But the anybody out there that hasn't got their direct debit extended, I mean, I took mine out in Jan 2020. Mine was going to finish in January 20 anyway. So by extending it, I've extended it by 18, 19 months. You know, mine would have finished before the festival finished anyway, which the MCF are missing out on 9 months for all of those guys like me who did it in those first 3 months. You know, it's the direct debit's going to finish early, and you can extend it to whenever you want. You know, and I've got an agreement with the MCF. We can do that by email via me. I've got the direct debit reference, I can find it. If anybody wants to email me direct, I can put a little paragraph together with the direct debit reference. I ping it across, they send it me, I can send it down. So I can sort it for them basically. If anybody wants to get that extension to September 26 on an existing direct debit.
Well, you know what? Speaking of someone who has a direct debit, it makes my life so much easier.
It's easy. It's a lot. And another interesting figure, we've got something like 633 direct debits. We've got 637 people that have got their festival dual. The correlation is, the majority of saying, I'll do it by direct debit. The people that are just putting it in the envelope, that sounds horrible, will probably get their honorific at the end. You do the direct debit, you get the dual and the credit at the beginning, you've done all the hard work.
Yeah. That's my 5 questions done, Jez. Thank you.
Excellent.
Simon. Well, you should be on the BBC.
Oh, no.
Don't know. No, Anglian Water wouldn't know what to do with this.
They probably would have cut me off for being over time anyway, but you gave us the Fergie link, which was good.
Good stuff. Right. Well, next we're going to go and look at where Simon was out during Masonic business at the back end of spring, and Michael Hall was doing his second degree. So let's go and have a look at that, chaps.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Lincolnshire Freemasons podcast show. Tonight we're back at Shakespeare Lodge in Spilsby with Brother Michael Hall. Last time I caught up with you, you just done your first degree.
Yep.
Tonight you've done your second degree. Done that. Since we've last seen you, have you visited any other lodges in Lincolnshire?
Yes, I've been to 4. I've been to Eccles, the sister lodge here, Lumley, which you kindly invited me to, St Botolph's, and Roundtable. All very different ways of doing things, and nice to see.
They've all got their own little twist on the ceremony, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to go and see different lodges as well.
It is. So you've done your first degree. Tonight you've done your second degree. So you're what's called a fellowcraft.
Yes.
So you're at the halfway point, halfway on your journey. Now, when you become a fellow, for the other brethren who were on that journey, who were entered apprentices now, and they're preparing for the fellowcraft degree, you do a series of questions.
Yes.
Have you got any tips for these guys who are getting ready for that next step?
Have a dad who's in Freemasonry is always a useful one.
Is he a good coach?
Yeah, he's very good. He's any chance we're in the car together, I'll go over to his house, whatever. It's so what's the and yeah, it's very useful. Other than that, just learn one question at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself with the big paragraphs. You'll end up learning the big paragraphs more than the little questions because you spend so much time on those and you forget the shorter ones. So just take your time. You pick them up as you go along.
I'd imagine your dad's coach you really well because he's want to see you.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
He's want to show you off in it.
Yes, definitely.
So, as I've said, we're at Shakespeare Lodge in Spilsby. It's an old lodge. It's got its own unique traditions, values, and quirky ways of doing things.
Absolutely.
As you can see from the wonderful backdrop we've got here, where the Worshipful Master sits, it's some unique furniture, isn't there?
Absolutely. And we had the historic minutes at the meeting this evening, which are talking about when the lodge, or just before the lodge was formed, and it was called Shakespeare Lodge because they bought all the lodge furniture back in 1835 from a lodge that had disbanded in Warwickshire, and that was Shakespeare Lodge. So the name came over here, and still much of that furniture is being used in this building. So which is a lovely link to have with the past.
And I believe Shakespeare is what's referred to as a moon lodge.
Yes, a lunar lodge. So we meet on or before the next full moon during the season. So I'm told the reason for that is that in the olden days, obviously before street lights, then go by the light of the moon to be able to get home. So which again is a nice tradition, and we've got lots of quirks and such like which are peculiar to Shakespeare, which is great because if you do something wrong and a visitor picks you up on it, we can just say, "That's the Shakespeare way."
That's our tradition.
I mean, you get away with it.
It is. So we're going to catch up with you again, Michael, when it's your 3rd degree, and it is something very special for anyone who's listening to this or watching this. If you've never seen a 3rd at Shakespeare Lodge, it is a hidden gem in Lincolnshire Freemasonry. It's a must to visit, and I believe, from what I'm told, there's only possibly 2 other lodges in the UK that do a very similar tradition. So it is special. It's a special night. So we're going to catch up with you again, Michael, when you do your 3rd degree. Where's your Brother Hall? Brother Hall, as usual, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you again.
Thank you very much.
That seemed to go really well, Simon. How do you think it went?
We've been following Michael's journey right from the very start. The first night he got initiated, somebody who's not brand new to Freemason, go, "Oh, can we do a video interview with you?" So we've already done that. The viewers have already seen that. We've called him on his 2nd degree, which you've just seen. He's got his 3rd degree coming up later this year. And then the penultimate one is we'll get him when he joins chapter. He said he's already going to go in there. So for anyone watching who wants to follow that, they can follow Michael's journey from start all the way through to finish his Masonic journey.
Yeah. That's a great idea, because it really just shows and gives obviously everybody an opportunity to see, how somebody's progressed.
It gives someone who's not got any idea about Freemasonry their thoughts, their feelings, and it's a nice insight into Freemasonry.
And boys and girls, we are going to be doing more of those roving reports when we're back to Freemasonry back in the autumn. Right, Pete, second questions I'd like you to ask Jez. Talk to him about the almoner's role, please.
Yeah, so Jez, actually this is something quite close to me, as the lodge that I'm in Crowell, my father is the almoner. So I do have a couple of questions, obviously, about his role and obviously your role as well. So you are responsible, of course, for provincial almoners, but could you elaborate on what exactly an almoner does and how they contribute to, obviously, Masonic community?
Yeah, very, very good question, Pete. And to be quite honest, I've only been in this job since May, and I'm still learning about my roles and responsibilities. And the role of the almoner is one that, even my 20-year journey, has been under the radar, I think, because I haven't needed any help and assistance or care, or I haven't had any major issues. So therefore, I'll sail through my 20 years in Masonry, not needing almoner, listening to those brethren who have fallen on mainly times where they become ill, because anything else, if people need care, help, assistance, if that's health, welfare, referrals to the MCF that we've mentioned about our charity, the MCF. If it's needed, that's got to be done with confidentiality, with sensitivity, and that's why the almoner's role is so special. Is it does go under the radar, and rightly so, but their role is so important. Very quickly, to summarise how I've perceived my role since it was kindly offered me. There's probably 20 out there that offered it before me, but I was the 21st, and I was the one that said yes. But, so he got me at a weak moment. So what I say about the role I've tried to get it right in my head and mould it, and it's linking the charity to the almoner's role. And I'm saying, the charity raises the money, and we raise to help people, and basically, and then the almoner is giving the help because we care. So there's a little ditty there that I was working on. So it's like raise to help, and then we help because we care. And I think it intertwines the two roles very, very well. But the almoners is often very much undersung, and they do a fantastic job behind the scenes. And the majority of us won't know what's happening behind the scenes, but I can assure you there's plenty. And there's plenty of people needing help and care. And I think we're one of the best organisations that do it for our members.
Definitely. Something that you did say about is confidentiality when it comes to. So how important is confidentiality when it comes to assisting brethren in need? And can you discuss how the role of a Freemason almoner ensures that individuals seeking help feel comfortable and secure to approach?
Yeah, I mean, it's number one priority. So that's how important it is, Pete. It's number one. It's number one. You know, if any lodge didn't trust the almoner to have that empathy, sensitivity, and be truthful enough and honest enough to keep things confidential, he wouldn't be in that. He wouldn't be in that role. And again, I can only talk from my 20 years, which was 20 years last October. I've never known a situation where that's been broken. You know, and there's multiples of probably thousands of people being assisted during that time. So it is so important, but you are quite right in mentioning it for a second time. That confidentiality is key, that anybody that does fall on hard times can actually speak up. You know, we've heard so much in the last few years, and my mind's gone straight back to what Chris Jones is doing, walking around the UK for you know, with an inspiration about his own mental health issues and mental health generally. You know, what he always says and what we would always say to anybody, because the almoner is a trusted person, is talk to him. If there's any issue where you think you might need help or assistance on anything, if it's from health or welfare, speak to your almoner. Because if he doesn't know, he'll guide you in the right direction, or what they'll normally do is they'll go and find out for you. So they're the link to the answers, Pete, as well. And there's sometimes a link to you feeling better and making things better without a shadow of a doubt.
It's just somebody you can just talk to as well. I mean, like I say, I'm very fortunate. Mine's my dad, so it is I'm lucky that way.
Yeah.
How does the role of a Freemason almoner tie into the broader theme of charitable work within the fraternity?
Yeah, I'm going to repeat. It's the link, isn't it? It's the link between the two. You know, we're in an organisation where one of our core values is to raise money and give money and help. We're so very honoured and many in a privileged position. We want to give back. We want to give back to the right sort of organisations and give help in the right areas. But not only do we do it for our own membership, we do it for the wider community as well. So they're interlinked. That we'll look after anybody within our own membership plus their families. You know, it's their spouses, their partners, their children, their grandchildren in circumstances. You know, there's little age rules and things like that. But you know, we help the broader family, but we also help outside of the organisation as well, because it's needed.
That was actually just something I was just going to say and ask. Is how does the almoner's role extend beyond financial assistance to provide emotional and social support to others who require it?
Yeah, there is, and there's a team of visiting officers and things like that under that auspice piece as well that do such a fantastic job that it isn't, you know, we talk about it, nothing's just money. Sometimes it's time, sometimes it's assistance administratively, sometimes it's pointing people in the right direction or finding an answer for them, and that can be so vital in itself without it being pounds, shillings and pence. Great examples that we can talk about because they're not confidential is what we do on the other side, which is the charity. You know, like what we did during COVID. You know, I worked at the Dapsy Centre here. I got the qualifications to be what's the not Red Cross, what are they? Ambulance. I should know, shouldn't I? What I did, but anyway, I helped at the Dapsy at the COVID Centre. But I didn't do the injections. I was just helping the queues and everything else. And you know, all those people that did the Meals on Wheels, that wasn't pounds, shillings and pence. You know, that was knowing that we care as a fraternity, we care and we look after ourselves and the wider community.
That's all my questions. Thank you, Jez.
Thank you, Pete. Exceptional as always. Right, you've got me to final questions, Jez.
Well, they save the best to last, don't they?
I wouldn't say that. It started off well. It tailed off in the end, and less said about the end, the better.
I much prefer the football themes with Simon. We're going into relegation zone now.
Well, you will follow these rubbish teams. Jez, how did you feel when you were offered the Assistant Provincial Grand Master position?
Absolutely privileged and shocked. Shocked was the first one I went for. I don't know whether Dave would like me saying it, but the PGM called me to a meeting at Lincoln, and as you know, I'm chairman of the festival, so I had all my festival stats. I had my little black book that's out of there. I'd all be what he might ask me, and I got my little graphs and all my spreadsheets ready and stored in my head. And then he sat me down. He actually bought me a cup of tea. That was the first. So I thought, oh, this is interesting. So, and then he said, it's nothing to do with the festival, Jez. I want to know if you do us the honour of being an Assistant Provincial Grand Master. And I was, as I say, absolutely honoured. I said, give me 24 hours, speak to the wife. I got an idea of the commitment from Dave, and I know how honest he is about time and commitment, and how he won't gloss over anything. He'll tell it straight. But the great thing is, he knows me well enough to say, if I feel as if I'm doing too much of it, then I'll just say no a few times. And it's that sort of relationship that's key at that level. I mean, what I thought so strongly about at the time was because of the link with the festival, and one of the key things was taking the arm over from Bruce Goodman, who'd done a fantastic job, and also had done a fantastic job at the last festival as well, to go into his shoes. And I've worked with Bruce on other matters beforehand, to look at after that side, that charity side, the festival side. It just, again, it went hand in glove. And I just thought, I can't not take the opportunity, because it'll give me also loads more occasions where I can do loads more visiting, and I can talk about the festival and any other of the important priorities at the time that the PGM wants us to, one being the strategic review that's happening and the membership challenge, etc., etc. So, and that will move with the times. It's a 2-year pattern, so it's a 2-year role. The other guys had longer. COVID took 2 years of that, didn't it? So, but it all depends after 2 whether or not Dave the PGM feels I've done a good job. So we'll see.
Okay, so
I know there'll be plenty knocking at the door. So hey ho.
So apart from your craft lodge, apart from Royal Arch, and any other side degrees that you're in, what extra commitment have you committed yourself to the next 2 years, nights wise?
It's visits. Visits is one. The other is the commitment to go to exec meetings beyond the exec. That there's the new strategy committee meetings. It's things behind the scenes that is in the planning mould, and then try and go and represent the province if needed outside of the province. So there's provincial grand lodges outside. There's 10 to 12 we visit, and I'd certainly want to do half of them. I've only done one up to now, and get involved in the presentations and the event side of things. If there's a representative needed for the province, and it's being a presence. It's trying to be a presence, and a positive one within the province. And being there if anyone's got any questions, because I know that if I can't answer it, I know I can pick the phone up and I can find the answers, and I'll do that. I've been asked several really interesting questions that I've got no clue about, Chris, since May. But I made a few phone calls and did my daily improvement in Masonic knowledge as well.
Final question: if there's anyone out there that just fancies going up the leadership ladder, what key qualities are required to go up to the senior roles?
Not a clue. Enjoy your Freemasonry. That's all I say. Enjoy your Freemasonry. Enjoy the journey. Do as much as you can. Enjoy it as much as you can. Visit. And what will be, will be. I haven't got a clue how I got here. Not a clue.
I think we all suffer from imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
I bet we're all waiting to be found out, aren't we?
That's why I was shocked. That's why I was shocked, because I thought he might be joking, but not, people don't joke about that sort of thing, do they? But honestly, I try and enjoy my Freemasonry. I do try and make a daily advancement in knowledge, and I took that on board very, very early. I enjoy the ritual. I enjoy the camaraderie. All my background was really Round Table. That was my affinity with Round Table that made me join Freemasonry. Being asked, knowing nothing about Freemasonry whatsoever, joined, and because I was invited over to Boston Lodge, my lodge is at Horncastle, Round Table Lodge. I was invited over to Boston as a guest of a guy called Mark Thornton, who's an ex-Round Tabler, and that was the big trigger. The big penny drop for me was when I started visiting, and my first visits, because I lived closer to Boston, so it was well, I could have a good night without doing ritual, because I was doing all my ritual at Horncastle. So that's why I like visiting as well. Having said that, now when I visit, sometimes I've got to do a bit of work. I've got to work for my supper. I've got to make a speech. I've got to do a bit of ritual. But hey ho.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, explains why at the start of this podcast we were talking about rubbish teams like Manchester United. And Jez comes from Area 30 in Round Table, which is the Lincolnshire Freemason area, who never seem to win anything, especially at National Sporting Weekend, which I think Freemasons need to actually do. And basically, it's like a stag do cross with a sports day, where lots of blue and black tie. And I think that might be something that we need to introduce into Lincolnshire Freemasonry.
Chris, great minds think alike. I was walking the dogs this afternoon thinking, I wonder what these guys are going to ask me tonight. And I thought, you know what, if I can bring up Round Table, I'm going to bring up National Sporting Weekend. I was on the accommodation convening committee when we had the national conference at Skegness at Butlins, where we took over Butlins for a whole long weekend. 3,000 Round Tablers there or something. It was manic. It was carnage, to be fair, but we're a little bit older and wiser now, aren't we? But going back to National Sporting Weekend, Chris, to be honest, you must be a lot younger than me, because when we used to win, we used to win a lot. So you must be a lot younger than me.
I'm just a meager 52.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Area 30 with the kiddies in my day, trust me.
Well, all I can say is this: is that I started a 4-year run where Area 14 won for 4 years in a row, but then they changed the rules because we were winning too much, which again sounds like Manchester United. And I think that nicely rounds off episode 4 of the Lincolnshire Freemason podcast show. I'd just like to say thank you very much to Pete Richardson and Simon Nodham, my co-presenters, awesome and insightful as ever. I'd also like to say thank you on behalf of us all, Jez, for taking on the Assistant Provincial Grand Master's role. I know you'll do us proud. I've been involved with the festival for the last few years, and your heart and your passion within that is second to none. So I know that you will really give it your all in this role. But more importantly, we'd like to thank you, brethren, ladies and gentlemen, who are watching this, and future Freemasons for watching this podcast. We hope that, we've promised, this is episode 4, we've promised the Provincial Grand Master will get to 21 episodes. At the rate we're going, I think hell will freeze over, but we will get to 21 episodes and continue on. We hope you've enjoyed it. Bit of laughter, bit of banter, but above all, friendship and remembering what we're all about. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.